Good morning. I am 5 minutes earlier today. As always, if you're watching in recording, you're welcome to fast forward or stay with us through our hellos. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Ari. All right, it is time for us to start, and today we will continue exploring the category of emotional experiences that Brené Brown calls places we go when we fall short. And today we'll talk about perfectionism. Perfectionism is actually born out of shame. It differs from healthy striving because it's outwardly focused. It's driven by this all-consuming question, what will other people think? It may seem counterintuitive, but one of the biggest barriers to working towards mastery is actually perfectionism. Brené Brown says, In our leadership research, we've learned that achieving mastery requires curiosity and viewing mistakes and failures as opportunities for learning. Perfectionism, on the other hand, kills curiosity by telling us that we have to know everything, and we risk looking less than if we don't. Perfectionism tells us that our mistakes and failures are actually our personal defects. So we either avoid trying new things or we barely recover every time we inevitably fall short. There are some research papers by Paul Hewitt and Simon Sherry that provide evidence that people with high levels of perfectionism are doomed to fail at meeting their own expectations and the expectations that they assume other people hold for them. Perfectionists perceive themselves as consistently falling short of others' expectations. They behave in ways that result in perceived and actual exclusion and rejection by others, even if it has nothing to do with reality. And as a result, they usually feel socially disconnected. So, in a nutshell, according to Brené Brown, perfectionism is a self-destructive and addictive belief system that fuels this primary thought: if I look perfect, live perfectly, work perfectly, and do everything perfectly, then I can avoid or minimize these painful feelings of shame, judgment, and blame. Of course, that cannot be done. Perfectionism is not self-improvement. At its core, it's about trying to earn approval and acceptance. Most perfectionists were raised being praised for achievement and performance, like good grades, good manners, nice appearance, following rules, pleasing people, etc. So somewhere along the way, we adopt this dangerous and debilitating belief system. I am what I accomplish and how well I accomplish it. So it's not about our innate value, but rather about what we do. Understanding the difference between healthy striving and perfectionism is really critical to laying down the shield and picking up your life. Healthy striving to improve is self-focused. So we ask ourselves, how can I improve? Whereas perfectionism is other-focused. What will people think if I do this or that, or if I don't do this or this in a certain way? Research shows that perfectionism actually hampers success. In fact, it often sets you on the path of depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis. Life paralysis here refers to all the opportunities we miss because we're too afraid to put anything out in the world that could be imperfect. It's also all of the dreams that we don't follow because of our deep fear of failing, making mistakes, disappointing others. Of course, it's terrifying to risk when you are a perfectionist because it's your self-worth that's on the line here. Perfectionism is self-destructive simply because really there is no such thing as perfection. It's a totally unattainable goal. And in any case, perfectionism is more about perception. We want to be perceived as perfect. And again, this is unattainable. There is no way to control perception, regardless of how much time and energy we spend trying. Perfectionism is addictive because when we invariably do experience shame, judgment, and blame, we often believe it's because we were not perfect enough. So instead of questioning the faulty logic of perfectionism, we become even more entrenched in our quest to live, look, and do everything just right according to our impossibly high standards. And really feeling shame, judge, blame, and the fear of these feelings are realities of the human experience. None of us are immune. And perfectionism actually increases the odds that we will experience these painful emotions and often leads to self-blame. It's my fault. I am feeling this way because I am not good enough. As a recovering perfectionist myself, I know these unhealthy patterns very well. And I also know that it is possible to relax this addictive grip of perfectionism and allow yourself to breathe life in fully, to allow yourself to be just good enough, which really, if you think about it, is perfect in and of itself. So let's explore this together. As always, take a comfortable position and take a few moments to settle in. Scan your body. Notice how you're feeling today, physically, emotionally, mentally. Notice your breath. Gently bring all of your attention to your breathing without trying to control it. Simply observe how your breath flows in and out, how your body responds to your breath. Now bring to mind something that you are proud of. It could be your talent, skill, or maybe a specific project that you're working on or worked on. Hold that feeling of pride and appreciation for yourself in your mind as you breathe gently. Now visualize or think of other people that you know or perhaps know of who share a similar talent, skill, or accomplishment. Recognize a connection between you. Again, let your breath be easy and soft. Your attention is on your breath, on your body, but not obsessively. Part of your attention is on developing this connection between you and other people for sharing a particular skill, talent, or accomplishment that you appreciate, that you're proud of. Now bring to mind a mistake that you've made. Maybe it's something that you're currently beating yourself up for, or an error for which you were hard on yourself in the past. Notice how the sensations in your body, how your breath, your heartbeat change as you switch your attention from something you're proud of to something that you perceive as a failure, as a mistake. Now bring to mind other people, whether you know them personally or not, doesn't matter, but other people who have made similar mistakes, who have gone through similar quote unquote failures as the one you're thinking of. Gently recognize the common humanity between those who share your talents and those who share your mistakes. We are all human, and not one of us is perfect. Or we can think of it as all of us are perfect in our imperfection. Now bring to mind something you're currently working on that is stressful for you. Something for which you're holding very high standards, and you're nervous that it won't go perfectly, whatever that means for you. Notice, recognize the level of your standards. Are they realistic for yourself and others? Can you allow yourself to develop a new definition of satisfaction? Can you actually declare this in a clear sentence? So try answering the question, what would the success of this project look like? What would the success of this project look like? Then ask yourself, what's the worst that could actually happen? Is the worst case scenario really that bad? Bring your attention back to your breath. Notice if you're judging yourself, even in this practice. Perhaps your inner voice is saying, my mind is much too active. It should be calmer during meditation. Or I'm just not good at this. If you find this, see if you can let it go. Let the mind be the mind. Notice that your mind always goes back and forth from the gentle breath, from ease to self-critic. See if you can release the need to judge the movement of the mind. Once again, bring to mind whatever project you're working on that is stressful and ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario here? Is it really that bad? And what would the success of this project look like if I don't impose impossible standards of perfectionism? If I allow myself to be just good enough, which is perfect in and of itself. As you go through your day today, I invite you to come back to this reflection. Whenever you notice this perfectionistic self-critic in your mind, simply come back to your breath, the sensations in your body, and those two questions. What would the success of this project look like? What's the worst case scenario, and is it really that bad? And hopefully you'll notice that some more space is being organized around this project that lets you breathe a little bit more freely. Enjoy this process. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a lovely day, and I will see you on Thursday. Tomorrow is Amethyst's healing meditation. Enjoy it.